Okay, let's dive in. It's interesting how much management styles affect engagement, right?
Oh, absolutely. There are studies linking them directly.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Times you felt really good at work, really productive. Chances are you knew exactly what you were supposed to be doing and maybe felt appreciated.
Definitely. And we've probably all felt the opposite too, that feeling of, well, just drifting, not sure what the real goal is or if anyone notices your effort.
Exactly. And figuring out what really works in management can feel
hmm
tricky. There's just so much advice out there,
So many different ideas, yeah.
which is why we're going deep on a classic, The 1 Minute Manager by Ken Blanchard and Spencer Johnson. It's like decades old, but still incredibly relevant.
It really is. Bestseller lists for ages, used everywhere from huge corporations to small businesses.
Millions of managers. Its whole thing is these practical secrets, supposedly backed by, science, to boost productivity, satisfaction, the works.
And it's been around so long, there must be something powerful in its simplicity, right?
That's what we want to unpack. What makes it stick?
The title itself, 1 Minute Manager, it almost sounds too simple. Can management really be boiled down to 1 minute interactions?
That's the hook, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So our mission today is to really dig into the core of it, these three secrets: 1 minute goals, 1 minute praisings, and 1 minute reprimands. We want to figure out what they are, how they work, and why they seem to be so effective for getting results and looking after people.
Right, because often management feels like a trade-off, results or people. This book seems to suggest you can and should do both.
Exactly. The book kicks off with this young guy searching for a truly effective manager. He sees leaders who are all about results, others who just want to be liked.
But neither extreme seems to deliver the whole package, great results and happy, engaged teams.
Right. Then he hears about this 1 minute manager, someone whose team performs well and actually likes working there.
Which is kind of the holy grail, isn't it?
Totally. So he meets the guy who seems surprisingly relaxed, almost like he has too much free time. The manager tells him, "Don't ask me, ask my people."
Good advice. Go to the source.
So he talks to Mr. Trinnell first. And Trinnell introduces secret number 1 minute goals. He says, "Look, I don't see the boss all the time, but I always know exactly what I'm supposed to be doing."
That clarity seems absolutely crucial. It's not just goals handed down, it's about agreement.
Yes, that's key. Both manager and employee agree. They define what good performance actually looks like in real terms.
Tangible stuff.
And here's the 1 minute part: they write it down concisely, like under 250 words on one page, readable in a minute.
So you can actually refer back to it easily?
Both people keep a copy. It keeps things transparent, easy to check progress, no guesswork.
It removes that ambiguity, that anxiety of, am I doing the right thing, which can really hold people back.
Trinnell also mentions the 80-20 rule. They focus the goals on the 20% of tasks that drive 80% of the results.
Smart. Focusing effort where it counts most, usually what, 3 to 6 main things?
Yeah, jeopardy. Plus, specific goals for special projects. The big idea.
Yeah.
No surprises. Everyone knows the target from day one.
That focus is vital. You avoid spreading yourself too thin. And having project goals adds flexibility.
Trinnell shares this great story. He had a problem, called the manager. The manager just says, "Good, that's what you've been hired to solve." And then silence.
Huh. That takes some confidence in your employee. It puts the ownership right back on Trinnell.
Trinnell was stumped at first. He said, "I don't know how." So the manager invites him in, but instead of giving answers, he asks questions,
Guiding him.
pushing him to define the problem, the desired outcome. But in, behavioral terms, what would you see happening?
So measurable, observable things,
Yeah.
not just vague ideas. The manager acts as a coach, not the expert solver.
Exactly, helping Trinnell think it through himself. If you try that, will it get you the result? No. What else?
Building that problem-solving muscle.
And Trinnell figures it out. The manager closes with, "You're good, Trinnell. Remember that next time."
Wow, that's powerful reinforcement. Not just solving the problem, but building his belief in himself for the future.
So Trinnell sums up 1 minute goal setting. Agree on goals, define good performance, write them down simply, read them often, check your performance against them regularly. Simple, right?
Simple to describe, maybe harder to do consistently, but that consistency is where the power lies, creating that shared understanding.
Next, the young man meets Mr. Levy. Time for secret number 2. 1 minute praisings. Levy says right from the start, the manager was clear about feedback, good and bad.
Setting the stage for open communication. No guessing where you stand.
The core idea here is help people reach their full potential. Catch them doing something right.
Which is kind of the opposite of how a lot of managers operate, right? They focus on the mistakes.
Totally. Levy says initially, the manager watched him closely, had him keep detailed progress logs. Levy admits, at first it felt like spying.
I can see that. A bit uncomfortable initially.
But then he realized why. The manager was actively looking for things to praise. He wasn't trying to catch him out. He was trying to catch him doing something right.
That reframes it completely. It's supportive observation, not surveillance.
And when he saw something good, bam, a 1-minute praising. It has specific steps, too.
Okay, what are they?
Praise immediately. Make contact, like a quick touch on the shoulder if appropriate, obviously.
Right, context matters.
Tell them exactly what they did right. Share how you, the manager, feel about it positively and how it helps the team or company.
So, specific positive feedback plus the impact.
Then, a short pause. Just silence, letting the positive feeling sink in.
Interesting. Give it space.
Encourage them to keep up the good work. And maybe another reinforcing touch, like a handshake, showing support.
The immediacy and specificity are key there, linking the praise directly to the action.
Levy really felt the difference, feeling valued, knowing his work was seen, and the praise was consistent, even when things were tough elsewhere in the company.
That consistency builds so much trust. It shows the manager cares about the individual, not just the current crisis or climate.
And as Levy got better, more experienced, he could track his own progress. The intense observation lessened. He started catching himself doing things right.
That's the goal, isn't it? Building that self-reliance, that internal motivation. The early praise builds the foundation.
So the young man's getting it now. He sees the results. He's ready for the third piece of the puzzle for Mrs. Brown.
Right, and Mrs. Brown's perspective is about dealing with mistakes, particularly with experienced people who generally know their stuff.
Exactly. Mr. Brown explains the third secret. 1-minute reprimands. She stresses it's mainly for capable people who make a significant slip-up. Because she's experienced, she sets her own goals, even praises herself.
So there's already a high level of trust and autonomy. The approach needs to reflect that.
But when she does mess up significantly, she gets a 1-minute reprimand immediately.
Okay, so consistency again. Immediate feedback for mistakes, too.
Yep. The steps are clear. Deal with it right away. Confirm the facts first. Make contact again, that shoulder touch.
The touch element is consistent.
Tell them exactly what went wrong. Then share your feelings authentically. Anger, frustration, disappointment, whatever it is.
Being honest about the impact, that takes guts.
Then another pause. A short silence for it to sink in. Can feel longer, apparently.
Let's the weight of the mistake land, but without dwelling.
Then, critically, the manager reaffirms her value. Says something like, "You're one of my best people. You're usually so competent."
Separating the person from the behavior, that's crucial.
Exactly. Clarifies the issue is the behavior, not her worth. Expresses confidence she won't repeat the mistake. Then it ends, often with a handshake. It's over.
The focus on behavior and not personal attack is why it works, right? Less defensiveness.
Miss Brown says exactly that. She can take the feedback because it's specific, fair, about the action, not her. No need for excuses.
And because it's over when it's over, no lingering resentment or holding grudges.
She even mentions she and the young man got a mild reprimand from the manager for asking him to repeat something. Shows he applies it consistently, even lightly.
And it has a touch of humor, maybe. Shows that feedback is just part of the culture. For everyone, learning is ongoing.
So the young man has heard from the team. Now he gets to ask the 1-minute manager himself, why does all this work?
Right, getting to the underlying principles, the psychology behind the simple techniques.
The manager says the 1 minute isn't literal timing, it's symbolic. It represents efficiency, focusing on key moments. He has a plaque. The best minute I spend is the one I invest in people.
That really sums up the philosophy, doesn't it? Time spent guiding people is the highest value activity. It's an investment.
To explain why goals work, he uses a bowling analogy. Imagine bowling, but you can't see the pins. How motivated would you be?
Not very. You need a target.
He says bad management is like putting up a sheet so you can't see the pins, unclear expectations. Then feedback focuses only on when you miss.
That analogy really clicks. It shows how frustrating unclear goals can be.
He even critiques traditional reviews with this acronym, NIHY-SOB. Now I have you, U-S-O-B.
Ouch.
Suggesting some managers keep expectations fuzzy just so they can criticize later. He contrasts that with his belief. Everyone is a potential winner. Hire well or train well.
It's a fundamentally different mindset, building people up versus catching them out. More optimistic, growth-focused.
And he repeats the need for written, simple goals. Another plaque. Take a minute. Look at your goals. Look at your performance. See if your behavior matches your goals. It encourages that self-correction loop.
That constant reinforcement of self-monitoring.
Okay, then praisings. Why do they work? He uses animal training, pigeons, whales.
Behaviorism 101, reinforcement.
Exactly. You reward approximations. Small steps towards the goal, get reinforced food for the pigeon, praise for the person. Gradually shape the behavior, like teaching a kid to walk.
Start small, build up, makes sense.
Eventually, skilled people become self-reinforcing. He contrasts this with the leave-alone zap style. Ignore people until they mess up, then pounce.
Which is unfortunately common, but yeah, totally demotivating.
He stresses you have to look for opportunities to praise, actively create them, especially with newer people.
Set them up for success, then acknowledge it.
Finally, reprimands. Why do they work? Immediate feedback is way better than bottling things up, gunny sacking, he calls it, then exploding later.
Yeah, immediate feedback connects the consequence directly to the action. Much clearer.
And again, focus on the behavior, not the person's worth. The tough and nice approach. Address the issue directly. Tough, but value the person.
Nice.
That balance is key. Accountability without demolition.
He uses examples outside work, like addiction counseling, child discipline, always the same pattern. Address the specific bad behavior, express your feelings about it, then strongly reaffirm the person's underlying value. He has another plaque. We are not just our behavior, we are the person managing our behavior.
That's a powerful distinction. It allows for correction without shame.
He touches on, touch. Says it's powerful if the intent is clearly supportive, caring. But if there's any doubt, don't do it. The rule, when you touch, don't take. Touch. Only when you're giving them something, reassurance, support.
Good guideline. Use touch to give, not to assert power or make someone uncomfortable. Requires emotional intelligence. And he tackles the manipulation question head on. Says it only works if you're transparent about what you're doing and why, and if you genuinely care about your people. That ethical foundation is non-negotiable.
Absolutely. Without genuine care and transparency, these techniques could feel very manipulative. Trust is paramount.
The young man gets it. He makes his own plaque. Goals begin behaviors. Consequences maintain behaviors.
Nice summary. Goals set the direction. Feedback keeps things on track.
So, wrapping up our deep dive on the 1-minute manager, the big takeaway really seems to be the power of keeping things simple and human-focused.
Yeah, clear goals, genuine praise, fair and immediate correction. They aren't complicated ideas, but they require consistent effort.
And thinking about you, the listener, these ideas feel pretty universal, don't they? You could apply them in almost any interaction, not just managing a team.
Definitely. Think about collaborations, even family life. Clear communication, acknowledging the good, addressing issues respectfully. It all applies.
So maybe a final thought for you to chew on. Which of these secrets, goals, praise, or reprimands could you consciously try out, even in a small way, starting today?
What difference might it make? Could be worth taking a minute to reflect. And maybe read the book.
It really boils down to that idea that feeling valued and clear about what's expected helps people perform better, as the book says near the end.
People who feel good about themselves produce good results. It's simple, but seems profoundly true.